Mary Omatiga here with the one and only Captain Cookus from the Philadelphia Stars. Case, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate your time. Let's dive right in. But I want to pick up kind of where we left off at last season's championship game, because in a way, that was kind of the last time that the fans saw you. So let's go back. It's the fourth quarter of the championship game. The Stars are up 23-20, and then you go down with just minutes left in the game. Take me back to that play. What happened?
Uh, I'd rather not, but no, I'm just kidding. But so the Stallions ended up kind of bringing a pressure off the edge and stepped up and just kind of got tackled from behind, an awkward hit, and just kind of landed funky and ended up breaking my leg. Broke my fibula and a piece of my ankle. Ended up having surgery on that 5 days after, or I think it was like 3 or 4 actually. I flew back to LA, had surgery. I got married five days after I had surgery. So I was on a scooter rolling down the aisle, but definitely didn't have really a chance to process it until about like 2 or 3 weeks later, and then would talk to my wife kind of like about it a little bit. But it was definitely it happened very fast, and I just remember all of a sudden being in the parking lot with my parents going like it didn't even feel real at first. But obviously when something like that happens, it's it was traumatic, but at the same time, for me personally, like anytime I've faced adversity, it was just kind of like, okay, how can we get past this? How can I get back to work? So my mind went straight to rehab. Like, how can I get rehab this and get it stronger, get my balance back? And that's just kind of how I got through the tough parts of it. I feel bad for my wife. I told her we'd take more pictures
Uh-huh.
after, and then she had to deal with me on the sitting on the couch for a couple months, not doing anything. So, but she was a trooper through this whole thing, and I appreciate her so much, and my family for helping me support me through that process. But yeah, it was a lot of just kind of rehab and just try to get back to work.
Yeah, I'm sorry you went through that. You were actually mic'd up when it happened, and you immediately said, "Guys, I broke my bone, my right leg, my right leg." How did you know in that moment your bone was broken, and what was kind of like going through your head in that exact moment?
Yeah, I think, I heard kind of a crack and a pop. I didn't know exactly what was wrong, but I had a feeling that something down there was broken. So, I told the trainer, and I think the doctors at the time, I was like, "Hey, my leg's broken." They kind of just looked at me and they were like, "Oh yeah, yeah, you're right." They kind of felt my leg, and again, there wasn't too much going through, and then they kind of got me up, and just seeing the crowd support and feel the team support is very humbling to see. All the support just in that stadium alone was awesome to see. Obviously, I wish I could have finished the game with my team and stuff, but it was cool to see all the love and support from just the teammates and everyone there.
Even through the injury, you could see that you're a leader through and through, just with you articulating exactly kind of what you needed in that moment and then making sure that your team was focused. Your last words to your teammates before you were carted off was finish. So, how were you able to have the presence of mind to be a leader in that moment when you were in so much pain?
Yeah, I think you know things happen first off, but things are bigger than one person. That game, if the guys were able to win, that is a memory that will go down and they'll remember forever. I don't care who it is or who finishes the game. So I was sad I didn't get to finish. Oh, I'm sorry here.
That's okay.
There. I was sad I didn't get to finish the game, with my teammates and my brothers that they had become, and we had fought through the whole year to get to that point. So I wanted to them to remember that it's about finishing that game, and they can worry about me later. That I'll be fine. And obviously we came up a little short, but that was just my focus was the guys, like they could do this, and they're such a good team, and I felt like all of them deserved to raise up that trophy. So it was a bummer that the way it all worked out, but they're just trying to get them to dial in and and really try to focus on what they needed to do.
Yeah. Where did you go when you were carted off? What kind of happened afterwards? And did you end up, catching the rest of the game?
So I was able to catch pieces of it. So they took me actually kind of to like an X-ray little medical room, X-rayed it, confirmed kind of what was wrong. There was no like emergency situation, so from there, they just kind of took me to lock my locker. The medical team and everyone was so nice, and they took care of me. Um, there's doctors and nurses that were all there helping me. I think at one point there was like 5 or 6 people around me. I was like trying to see what was going on, but I ended up taking a shower, getting changed, and then they kind of just put me in a boot, gave me some crutches and support, and then from there I was able to catch kind of the last couple clips of the game, and obviously it was a bummer the way it went out, and then shortly after that all the guys started coming in after the game finished.
Yeah. So going backwards a little bit, you guys, well, you actually started last season as a backup to the third overall draft pick, Brian Scott. He goes down with a season ending injury in game 3 of the season, and then you're up next in line. Take me back to that moment that you get put in the game. What's going through your head?
Yeah, I think it was a funny first play. Coach ended up calling like a post concept, and I come in cold off the sideline and end up just bombing a post over the top. Kind of a weird way to start the game, kind of in this like third and long situation, and Jordan goes up and makes a great play in a post. So it happened so fast that I don't think I even had a chance to really think about it. It was just kind of right into game mode and trying to get the offense going.
Yeah. So on paper, you guys weren't supposed to be in that championship game. You lose your starting quarterback, and then you get to the playoffs and you're facing the Generals who'd already beaten you guys twice, but somehow, some way, you guys are playing for the title. You fought your way there. If you were to pick one word to describe this last season, what would it be and why?
Oh man, that's a tough question. I think um, perseverance is a good one. I think overall, at a lot of different positions, guys had to make adjustments. I feel like remember looking at the sideline a few times where we had like 3 defensive ends. There was guys like taking every single rep on defense, and on offense we had 3 or 4 different rotations of offensive line. We had our guard Jackson. One game kind of come in hurt because we didn't have any offensive linemen left to play, and he had to kind of play through a little bit of a lower back injury, and just like there's stories that you can find at almost every guy of like playing through something or fighting through and or win the game or this and that, and just like guys just kind of persevering through all of this kind of a weird season of different rotations and different guys playing and stepping up all over.
Now, give me one word to describe the Philadelphia Stars.
I think fun is a word I like to use. I think we're fun to watch. We have a lot of fun while we're playing football. I think it really describes who we are. I was just talking with some of the guys. I enjoy so much of just our teammates, but also the product that we put on the field with lots of points, trying to move the ball down the field. We're also turning the ball over on defense, which is great. Special teams, I think we have one of the most fun special teams to watch, whether it's in the return game or in the kick coverage game. So I think that's a good word to describe us, and I hope people watching us really enjoy watching us.
I love that you chose fun because we've seen glimpses of the team from the funny and passionate moments of you guys being mic'd up to hearing your safety, Ahmad Dixon's touching speech about losing his cousin to gun violence and finding brotherhood among you guys, his teammates. So can you describe what the atmosphere in the locker room is like for the Philadelphia Stars?
Yeah, I think we have a very close group. We returned a lot of guys, so that helped. Just the base of the guys, we kind of know a lot of each other, and then welcome all the new guys in. So, it has become kind of a little family we've created, and I think we all appreciate each other. A lot of us have similar stories. Whether for me, it was kind of like COVID year of football coming out of college, and maybe not getting all the NFL looks you wanted, trying to find yourself. Some guys went to Canada, some guys didn't, and then the USFL pops up, and it's this opportunity to continue what you love to play. And one thing that's kind of the same throughout all the guys is a lot of our guys love football, and you can see it in the way they play.
Yeah, I love that. It seems like this is bigger than football for you guys, your camaraderie. What do you guys play for?
I think every guy has his own, unique thing that he plays for. But when it comes down to it, it really is the love of the game. When you're out there and you got a guy, whether you're on the offense line, you got a 300-pound guy just like banging your head and banging against you every play. It's like you gotta love what you do, and so like for me, it's weird, but like getting hit and this and that, it makes me feel like a part of the game. So it's just you gotta love what you do. And I think we have you know everyone on our team loves exactly what they do because it's so much fun to get out there and get to play a game for your job. Not many people get to say they do that.
Yeah. You mentioned that you guys are a family. Did you guys keep in touch during the off season?
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't even imagine how many text messages and this and that I got throughout, the whole off season. And, uh, I would, call guys or they'd ask how they're doing. And, there's the football team is so unique because you have guys that live across the country that come together to kind of compete for one goal and win a championship. And you have guys from the inner cities, different states from the country, all this kind of coming together. So it's awesome to kind of keep up, get to know how they're doing, what they're doing. And yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So looking back, how would you say that you have grown personally and professionally this season?
I think going back to 2022, my first year out of college, I didn't play football for 2 years. I didn't play from 2020 until my first start there in 2022. So for 2 years, I didn't play any football, and I think being able to get a year of football under my belt helped me so much in my development. I think it showed some flaws in my game, and I went back in the off season and try to work a lot of my footwork and staying balanced in my throws. And you learn by doing and practicing and watching film. So being able to look back and watch film and find things to work on is really just how you improve the most.
How are you feeling physically? How's your leg? I know you've been doing just a ton of rehab. How's that going?
It's been feeling really good. I think I was surprised how fast I was able to kind of come back from it. I was so thankful to have Dr. Reed. He was the surgeon who did my surgery. He did such a great job on it. I would check in with him all the time. All my physical therapists that went to physical therapy in Las Vegas, and spent weeks and weeks and weeks working with all them, and they worked so hard for me, and I'm so thankful that they were able to help me so much to get back. And my leg feels great. I think um, it was tough at first. It was a very unique thing, nothing I had ever had to kind of come back from before. Because I had had upper body injuries before that are a little easier to deal with because as a throwing athlete, you're either sore or you're not, and you kind of can have a pinch count and things this and that. And to have an injury to your base and what you throw with the quarterback is you throw a lot with your base and your footwork, was a unique challenge for me. So I focused a lot on trying to fix that, and I still am. I still try to do lots of core and extra things and extra rehab and icing to make sure I keep the ankle swelling under control.
I'm glad you're doing much better. Looking ahead to the 2023 season, what can fans expect from the Philadelphia Stars?
Yeah, I think we touched on it a little bit, but I think offensively we have a ton of different weapons. We're really excited about every position group on offense. I think we have a lot of different guys that can create big score, touchdown, big play touchdowns for us. And then I look on our defensive side. They're a dangerous group of guys, man. I look down at the defensive front. A lot of hard workers getting after the quarterback, getting after the run game. Linebackers very fast from side to side, and then you have DBs that can go up and get the ball at any moment. So it's really exciting to see all of our guys and what they're able to do. So I think you're going to see an exciting group of guys and making a lot of plays.
How will the Stars be different this season?
Yeah, I think like we kind of mentioned, well, like I mentioned earlier, is we have a lot of returners, but we added some pieces, whether it was for depth or for competition for starting spots. So it's exciting to see. But I think the base identity of who we are is going to be the same, but you're going to see some more flashes and some more consistency. I think across the board is going to be a big part of it because I think at times last year we're a little bit inconsistent. I think that's one of the things we're working on. Just starting out the season of just, hey, this is what we're gonna do. It's not year one anymore; it's year two. So we got to be more consistent in what we do.
Yeah. Year two, you guys have a new hub city. How do you feel about having Detroit, Michigan be the home for the Philadelphia Stars this season?
Oh, it's great. I think we would love to be in Philadelphia. I think the Philly fans are so great, but we got a little bit closer, so that's exciting. Hopefully, we get some Philly fans out here in Detroit supporting us. But no, it's been great. Ann Arbor is a great city. We're going to be playing in Detroit, but everything so far has been awesome. They've taken a great job, or done a great job of taking care of us, and I'm looking forward to kind of finding some nice food spots and find all the places. So I'm trying to do all my research now. But yeah, I'm excited to spend 10 or so weeks up here.
Is there a matchup that you're most excited for this season?
You know, I get excited for all of them. I definitely would like a shot at some of the teams that, like maybe the Breakers and the Stallions that we weren't able to beat that year. So, looking back at some of that stuff, I think you always kind of want to beat the teams that you weren't able to, get last year. But you can't get too ahead of it. You got to stay 1 week at a time. But for sure, when those teams kind of come up and you got a new team in the league, so week one will be exciting with the showboat. So that just you can't take it too far, but there's definitely a few games that we're excited about this year.
What's it like having Coach Bart as a head coach? What's something about him that people would be surprised to know?
I think there's probably a lot of different things that people would be surprised about, but Coach Bart's a pretty calm guy. I think it's pretty rare to see him super fired up. I think I laughed actually the first time I saw him. Like he was getting on the refs because he doesn't really get on us too much in the quarterback room or in the offensive meeting rooms. He's very calm and I don't know if stoic's the right word, but but when I forgot who it was, but something happened and he started getting on the refs and started raising his voice a little bit. I was like, oh, I've never seen Coach Bart really yell like that before. So very calm guy, very very easy guy to play for because of how positive and how positive he is through whatever you're doing.
How would you describe your style of play as a quarterback?
Oh, Um, I like to consider myself a pocket passer, but I guess I ran a little more than I used to last year. The plan is to stay in that pocket a little more, take a few less hits this year, and that comes from just being in the offense for one more year. I think me and Coach Bard and Coach Marcel have a good kind of idea of what I do well, but also how to run their offense a little better, and I think that'll help trying to get the ball out because when I look at our team, we have such playmakers that are running back, tight end, and wide receiver position. I'd rather have those guys have the ball in their hands, making guys miss, than me running around getting tired. Because I don't know. Oh, sorry, I don't know why my phone keeps doing that. I don't know if I want to run around as much as I did last year. That's for sure.
You definitely have some wheels. Where does your ability to run the offense and create those explosive plays come from?
Yeah, I think I've played in a lot of different offenses now. I had three coordinators in college and bounced around with a few NFL teams. So I've learned a few offenses, and I think from that you get pieces and you learn what you like and learn how you like to play. And I think what's great about Coach Bart and Coach Marcel is they want me to play the position the way I play the position, and then they'll kind of mold the offense around that. So if I don't like something and they feel like we're not running it very well, they'll take it out and we'll move on. We'll find a different way to approach that play, and they do such a great job of taking feedback.
Mhm. So switching gears, I want to get into the off season. You mentioned you got married this summer on a scooter. I know you had surgery like a couple of days before your wedding. What was that like? And also, how are you enjoying married life?
Married life's been great. I sit on the couch all day and I work out in the morning and I sit on the couch all day and then I make dinner at night. So I think I'm doing a pretty good job so far. But yeah, the off season, for me, as a football player is a lot of fun. You get to kind of set your own schedule. I like to work out and kind of do my rehab, throwing all that kind of in the morning. And then that way I have the rest of the day to do whatever I need to get done. But yeah, no, it's been a great off season. I was able to spend a little time with the Rams. I got signed over in November, so spent 7 weeks there in LA with them, and then was able to come back and spend the rest of it in Vegas. So
What was your experience with the Rams like?
oh, it's good. I think there's a lot of smart people in that building, and so I was able to absorb a lot of information. Coach McVay, Matthew Stafford, just being around those two guys was awesome to kind of learn how they do things, how they approach the game. So learned a lot from my time with the Rams.
Yeah. So just looking back at your journey, you are one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. You spent some time on the practice squad with the Rams, like you just mentioned, but at one point in your career, you considered hanging it all up and becoming a firefighter. When you look back to those days, did you ever think that you'd be where you are right now?
You know, I that's tough because I guess no, I don't think because obviously the USFL wasn't going during that time and all this stuff, but during that time I was let's see, I was 6'2", 175 pounds. I was a little smaller, didn't wasn't very highly recruited. So I had always, I wanted to plan for the future and didn't want to just risk everything for a future on a scholarship that wasn't happening. So I ended up going to a junior college and taking the time. I was doing some testing for the fire department, and during that whole process, I was still playing football for my community college and was able to get a scholarship to NAU. And it kind of happened so fast that I wasn't able to even really look back and consider both options. I think getting the scholarship offer and having the opportunity to play football at the next level, having my school paid for. It was an opportunity that I couldn't pass up, and I'm so thankful that I stuck with it and ended up playing football.
Yeah, we'll get deeper into your time at NAU in a bit, but you were supposed to be a Yankee shortstop. So how did you end up falling in love with football? Do you have like a memory of when you first fell in love with the sport?
Yeah, so I think for me it happened later. I think growing up, baseball was it. It was super awesome. Derek Jeter was my idol. I thought he was so cool. Played shortstop. That was the position I played. And he was such a good player at the time. So I always wanted to play baseball. And then as I got into high school, I played a little more football and kind of bounced back and forth from wide receiver to quarterback. And it was actually my sophomore year where I had a high school coach. His name was Coach Brown, and then a head coach. His name was Coach Lyman, and they kind of taught me a lot during that period of time of just about the position. And one of the things I fell in love with was like you're never done learning with football. There's always something else you can learn. One of the great clips I like to watch is like Peyton Manning at Tennessee breaking down like the simplest pass concept, and he broke it down for like 2 hours. And it's this simple play, and but there's always something more or this little tweak you can put on it, and learn more and more from the game. And I think that's one of the fun things about football is you're never done learning about the game.
Did you watch football growing up? And if so, did you have an NFL team that you were a fan of? I know you mentioned Peyton Manning. is he one of the players you kind of looked up to?
So growing up, so where I was at in LA, the Rams weren't there yet. So I didn't really have like a favorite team. Which is funny because I liked defenses more when I was a kid. So I liked watching like the Bears play, when like Brian Urlacher and Matt Forte were on the team. It was like a lot of fun to watch them. But I never really growing up had a favorite football team. Obviously I wish the Rams were there when I was growing up because it would have been fun because the Rams facility was actually 5 minutes from my house that I grew up in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I called my parents when I signed. I was like, "Hey, I'm moving back home." So I actually stayed in my parents' house for a few weeks again this off season. But no, it was a lot of fun growing up. Not really having a team because I was able to just watch a lot of different teams and never got my heart broken by one of my favorite team or anything like that losing in the championship. But no, I didn't have a favorite team.
You went to Northern Arizona, you just mentioned, where you played really great football for the Lumberjacks, kind of in between a broken collarbone and some complications that kept you sidelined for a bit. What did you learn from your time there, and how did your time there shape you into the person that you are today?
I think one of the things is just like learning from different people. I had, like I kind of mentioned, I had three different coordinators, bunch of different coaches that came through the program, two different head coaches. So, everyone wants, their offense and their style of coaching to come through. And one of the things is to be able to communicate, or one of the things to be able to get that done is communicate and be able to understand what people want. And the faster you can get on the same page, the easier really football becomes because if you're trying to butt heads and you're arguing, you're upset, nothing's going to get done. So one of the awesome things is just trying to communicate, and that's one of the big things I learned from just all that time at NEU and all the different coaches and coordinators I had.
Can you talk about how COVID really affected kind of NFL dreams for you and for a lot of people that graduated during that time frame?
Yeah, I think definitely unexpected. I think is the word. Not really unsure, kind of like the world was, just unsure, not really knowing what to exactly to do or how to do it. I think my pro day got canceled 3 days before. So going in, just being able to get signed to the Giants, I was happy with the opportunity, but I tried to learn an offense over FaceTime and Zoom. It was very difficult, and that was something I had to learn, um, kind of the hard way, where it was like, hey, like if you're gonna be a pro and you're gonna take all this time to do this, you really got to take it amongst yourself to try to get it done because learning different offenses, the difficulties that Zoom kind of created was very hard to be kind of your first example of NFL. A lot of guys get to go to rookie minicamp, kind of make their mistakes and learn from those out on the field. And it was something that a lot of guys like myself didn't get to do that kind of last year or that year of COVID.
You've had really great NFL opportunities with the Giants, like you mentioned, the Rams, the Vikings, the Broncos, the Raiders, and also in the Canadian Football League. I can imagine that it's a little bit heartbreaking when you get so close and then the situation doesn't unfold the way you want it to. In most cases, I know for you, it was more of like a business side of things, but how do you stay motivated?
I think one thing I like to try to think of is like the positive steps forward. So my first year, it cut. Uh, you know, don't really end up playing much football at all that year. Um, and then the next year, okay, I signed with a couple different teams. Still getting cut. Ended up signing with a CFL team. Excuse me. Um, just worked my way up to making a team at least. And then the next year, again, a couple teams get cut, but then the USFL comes as an opportunity, and I think that opportunity to play again and make the squad, but also contribute to the team. Everything's been trending in the right direction. I think even all of the getting cut, I've learned from all those opportunities. Although you look back and you go, oh, you've been cut from 5 different teams, you've been on 6 or 7 different teams. The positive part is the right direction, and I feel like my career's still going in the right direction.
How has the USFL given you a new appreciation and love for football?
Yeah, I think that's easy. I think they gave a lot of guys like me the opportunity to play football again. Whether it's guys that were close to hanging it up or fresh out of college and weren't getting the most looks in the NFL. The opportunity to play football and play this game and to get paid for it is, an opportunity that, like I kind of mentioned earlier, it's like not a lot of people get to do something they love and get paid to do it. So it's awesome. I'm so thankful that they started this league, and it's super exciting. And look forward to meeting all the new guys that are getting this opportunity this year.
Thank you for sharing that. All right, I've got a little bit of a rapid fire for you. Are you ready for this?
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
Oh,
Finish the sentence. I'm not ready for game day without blank.
coffee. Let's go there.
Okay. How do you take your coffee?
It just depends. If it's cold, I like a little cream and some vanilla sweetener, but nothing in it if I'm having a warm coffee.
Okay. Game day hype song.
I don't have one. Whatever the guys are listening to.
Okay. If football had walk-up songs, what would yours be?
Ooh. See, I'm not very good at the rapid fire. Probably a good country song. Nice. Yeah. I don't know exactly what it'd be. I had to do some research, but yeah, good
Okay.
country song. Yeah.
Do you know like the artist that it would be or like
No, I don't. I'd have to do some research on that or a rock song. I think I could pull off either one of those.
okay.
Yeah.
Do you have AOL Instant Messenger back in the day, AIM
No,
or
I didn't.
MSN Messenger?
No, I didn't.
Did you have like an embarrassing email address?
No, but I can tell you my wife. She'll probably get mad at you, but
Throwing
her,
Tyler under the bus?
yeah, I'm gonna throw it. Hers is I don't really even know why, but it's LaRue@gmail.com, and I have no idea why it's that or why she made it that. But yeah, mine's lame. It's just my name. That's my so.
Got to get more creative.
I
All
know.
right. You are singing karaoke for your life. Your life is on the
Oh,
line. What song are you picking?
um, probably. I have to sing every word, right?
Hmm.
Probably "Drive" by Alan Jackson. I could do that one all the way through.
Nice. Name the TV show that you're binging.
Um, I'm usually always binging The Office, but right now, I'm watching The Mandalorian, and
Okay.
that's a great show. Would recommend that to everyone.
Nice. All right, that was my last question for you. Is there
All right.
anything else that you want the world to know about Case Cookus or the USFL or the Stars?
No, I think we covered a lot of it. So hope everyone tunes in or watches. Come watch us play in Detroit, and excited to meet some more fans and be in a different city. And if anyone is a Philly fan that's living in Detroit, come out. I'd love to meet you. And yeah, I'm excited about the year.